Master Jinyun of the Abbey of Five Villages, with the holy title of Lord equal to Earth, happens to be the patriarch of earthbound immortals. How did you manage to offend someone like him? That ginseng fruit tree of his, you know, is the grass of the reverted cinnabar. If you had stolen it and eaten it, you would be guilty already. Now you have gone so far as to knock the tree down. You think he'll let you get away with that? Exactly, said Pilgrim. We did escape, but he caught up with us and scooped us up in his sleeve as if we were handkerchiefs. It's a troublesome affair. Since I could not prevail, I had to promise him that the tree would be cured. That's why I came to beg you. The Grand Thirch said, I have 1 grain of the great monad elixir of 9 reversions. It can cure all the sentient creatures in the world, but it cannot cure trees. For trees are the spirits of earth and wood, nourished by heaven and earth. Moreover, the ginseng fruit tree is no tree of the mortal world. If it were, you might find a cure for it. But the Long Life Mountain happens to be a heavenly region, and the Abbey of Five Villages is a cave heaven of the West Aparagadinia continent. And the ginseng fruit tree produced there is a spiritual root that came into existence at the time of creation. How could it be healed? I have no cure, none whatever. If you have no cure, Old Monkey will take his leave, said Pilgrim. The Grand Thirch would have liked to offer him a cup of jade nectar, but Pilgrim said, This is emergency business. I dare not linger. He then mounted the clouds to proceed to the island of Yingzhou. This, too, was a lovely place, for which we have a testimonial poem. The poem says, The elegant pearl tree aglow in purple mists. Yingzhou's arches and towers touching the sky. Green hills, blue waters, and fair coralline blooms. Jade nectar, red steel, and the hard iron stone. The 5-colored cock crows at the sea's sunrise. The red phoenix, ageless, breathes in scarlet mists. In vain mortals would seek this gourd-held scene. An endless spring beyond the world of forms. Our great sage arrived at Yingzhou, where before the red cliffs and beneath the pearl trees sat several figures with luminous white hair and beards, immortals of youthful complexion. They were playing chess and drinking wine, telling jokes and singing songs. Truly there were hallowed clouds all filled with light. Auspicious mists with fragrance afloat. Colorful phoenixes calling at the cave's entrance. Dark cranes dancing on top of the mountain. Jade-like lotus roots and peaches went well with wine. Magic pears and fire dates prolonged the years. None of them had need to heed a royal summons. Though the divine record had each of their names. Wholly at ease, they could wander and play. With no work or care, they could do as they please. The months, the years had no hold on their lives. Throughout the great world, they were completely free. How lovely were the black apes, who came in pairs, bowing, to present the fruits. How friendly are the white deer, who lay down 2 by 2 with flowers in their mouths. Those old men were enjoying themselves when our pilgrim walked up to them and cried, How about letting me have some fun too? When the immortals saw him, they quickly rose to greet him. We have a poem as a testimony, and the poem says, The spirit roots of the ginseng fruit tree snapped. The great sage called on the gods for a wondrous cure. As scarlet light poured from the divine grove, he was met by the 9 elders of Yingzhou. Recognizing the 9 elders, Pilgrim said, laughing, Old brothers, how content you are. If the great sage in years past had persevered in the truth, said the 9 elders, and had not disrupted heaven, he would be even more content than we are. But you are all right now. We heard that you had returned to the truth to seek Buddha in the West. Where do you find such leisure to come here? Pilgrim then gave a thorough account of his efforts to find a cure for the tree. Astounded, the 9 elders said, You cause too much trouble. Just too much trouble. Honestly, we don't have any cure. If you don't, said Pilgrim, I shall take leave of you. The 9 elders asked him to stay and drink some jade nectar and eat some lotus root. Pilgrim would not sit down, but, standing, drank a glass of nectar and ate a piece of lotus. He then left Yingzhou swiftly and headed straight for the Great Eastern Ocean. Soon the Potalaka mountain came in sight. Dropping down from the clouds, he went straight to the top of the mountain, where he saw the Bodhisattva Guanyin giving a lecture to the various celestial guardians, dragon ladies, and Mach-I in the purple bamboo grove. As a testimony, we have a poem which says, "The sea mistress cities tall, with thick hallowed air. Here you see countless marvelous things. Know that the 1,000 vague and varied forms are all found in a book's one soundless leaf. 4 noble truths conferred will bear right fruit. 6 stages, when listened to, will set you free. This young grove has pleasures special and true. Trees full of reddened fruits and fragrant flowers." The Bodhisattva was the first to notice Pilgrim's arrival, and she asked the great mountain guardian to go meet him. As he came out of the grove, the guardian shouted, "Sun Wukong, where are you going?" Raising his head, Pilgrim cried, "Bear rascal! Is Wukong the name for you to take in vain? If Old Monkey hadn't spared you back then, you would have been a corpse on the Black Wind Mountain. Today you are a follower of the Bodhisattva, for you have received the virtuous fruit and you have been made a resident of this immortal mountain, so that you can listen frequently to the Dharma teachings. Now, with all these benefits, can't you address me as Venerable Father?" That black bear, you see, had indeed attained the right fruit, but the fact that he was made a guardian of the Potalaka and given the title Great Guardian was something that he owed to Pilgrim. So he really could not do anything but smile and say, "Great sage, the ancients said the princely man does not dwell on old faults. Why mention my past? The Bodhisattva asked me to come meet you." Our pilgrim at once became solemn and earnest as he followed the great guardian to bow down to the Bodhisattva in the purple bamboo grove. "Wukong," said the Bodhisattva, "where has the Tang monk reached in his journey?" "The Long Life Mountain, in the west of Paragadania continent," said Pilgrim. "In that Long Life Mountain," said the Bodhisattva, "there is an abbey of 5 villages, which is the home of the Zhenyun Great Immortal. Did you come across him?" Banging his head on the ground, Pilgrim said, "It was all because of your disciple, who did not know the Zhenyun Great Immortal at that abbey of 5 villages. I offended him by damaging his tree, and he in turn held up my master, preventing him from making any progress in his journey. You mischievous monkey!" scolded the Bodhisattva, who already had knowledge of the whole affair. "You don't know any better. That ginseng fruit tree of his is the spiritual root planted by heaven and nourished by earth. Master Zhenyun himself is also the patriarch of earthbound immortals, and even I must be somewhat deferential to him. Why did you damage his tree?" Bowing low again, Pilgrim said, "Your disciple was truly ignorant. The day when we arrived at the abbey, Master Zhenyun was not home, and only 2 immortal lads were there to receive us. It was Zhu Wuneng, who discovered that they had these fruits, and he wanted to try one. Your disciple stole 3 such fruits, which we 3 brothers divided up among ourselves. When the lads found out, they kept on chiding us until I became so angry that I pushed down the tree. Their master returned the following day and caught up with us. After he had scooped us up with his sleeve, he had us bound and whipped, interrogating and torturing us for a whole day. We escaped that night, but he caught up with us again and took us captive as before. 2 or 3 times it went on like this, and when I became convinced that it was impossible for us to flee, I promised him that I would heal the tree. I have just made a complete tour of the 3 islands seeking a cure from the sea, but none of the immortals was able to give me one. That's why your disciple has come to bow before you in all sincerity. I beg the Bodhisattva, in her compassion, to grant me a cure, so that the Tang monk can soon journey toward the west." "Why didn't you come see me earlier?" asked the Bodhisattva. "Why did you go looking instead on the islands?" When Pilgrim heard these words, he was secretly pleased and said to himself, What luck! What luck! The Bodhisattva must have a cure. He went forward again to beg some more, and the Bodhisattva said, "The sweet dew in my immaculate vase can heal divine trees or spirit roots. Have you tried this before?" asked Pilgrim. "Indeed," said the Bodhisattva. "When?" asked Pilgrim. The Bodhisattva said, "Some years ago Lao Tzu had a wager with me. He took my willow twig and placed it in his elixir refining brazier until it was completely dried and charred. Then he gave it back to me, and I stuck it in my vase. After 1 day and 1 night, I had my green twig and leaves again, as lovely as before." Laughing, Pilgrim said, "I'm lucky. Truly lucky. If a scorched willow could be revived, what's so difficult about a tree that has been knocked over?" The Bodhisattva then gave this order to the rest of her followers: "Maintain your vigilance in the grove. I'll be back soon." She left, balancing the immaculate vase in her hand. The white parrot flew ahead of her, while the great sage sun followed from behind. We have a testimonial poem, and the poem says, "The world can't limn this jade-browed golden form. A God who pities and saves us from woes. As stainless Buddha, she met kalpas past. A self which can do she has now attained. She calms passion's billows in many lives. Her moral nature is wholly unsoiled. The sweet dew, long charged with true wondrous might.